Now, Perez in his review says that this movie is boring with boobies. I almost feel like that's an oxymoron if that's the correct term, because boobies and boring do not go in the same sentence together. You can't have boobies and be bored, okay? Every time I see a boobie without thinking, I'm just like, All right, y'all, welcome to another episode of Tit for Tat. I'm being joined once again by my man, Anthony A. Perez. So if you're new to the channel, Tit for Tat is when we pick movies out for each other that we normally would not watch. So Perez is really more into the Disney joints, and I'm more into the blaxploitation soul cinema joints. And good news for you, Perez. This is your last blaxploitation movie for now. But they shall return. But I'm going to give you a break. And I know what you're thinking. Rashad, you're torturing me because I tortured you with those Disney movies. No, that's wrong. All right, dead ass wrong. These are movies that are near and dear to my heart, and if I really wanted to fuck with you, I would have given you something like The Disco Godfather.
Where is Bucky, and what has he had?
Angel Dust. I told him.
Or P.D. Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law.
Tell your boss I'm still alive, and I'm mad as a hornet in a bumblebee eye.
I'm giving you blaxploitation that I genuinely love, and Coffy is one of them. Not my favorite, but it is my favorite Pam Grier joint, and I think that's because she shows the most skin. So Coffy is by no means a masterpiece. This is not what you call great cinema, but this is this is a movie about a kick-ass female character that, you know, Pam Grier was the original. You know, before Ripley, before Sarah Connor, before all these badass females came into play, Pam Grier was the first one, a black one, all right? So what separates Coffy from Foxy Brown for me is that I think Pam Grier was more kick-ass in this one. She was ruthless. She did not play. She will blow your balls off with a fucking shotgun. She had razor blades in her hair where the girls was trying to jump her. They sliced themselves up. Okay, so just to give you a little brief synopsis here, Coffy is the story of Coffy starring played by Pam Grier. She's a nurse, and her sister got on drugs, she OD'd, so now she's on a mission to get revenge on the pimps and the pushers that put drugs out there to the streets to kill the kids, and she just wants to take them out, alright? But a common thing with these blaxploitation movies is it goes beyond the pimps and the pushers. There's always the man that's over everything, and she discovers that, but it's a revenge tale of her getting back at the drug dealers that poisoned her sister. That's pretty much it, and she shows her boobies a lot. Now, Perez in his review says that this movie is boring with boobies. I almost feel like that's an oxymoron if that's the correct term, because boobies and boring do not go in the same sentence together. You can't have boobies and be bored, okay? Every time I see a boobie without thinking, I'm just like, boring. Yeah, I can't help it. And there's chock full of that, man. There's a whole bunch in there. And Sid Haig is also in here. Sid Haig and Pam Grier are frequent collaborators. They collaborate a lot. You know, even with Jackie Brown, Tarantino put them in there together. And you can watch Coffy and see a lot where Quentin Tarantino got a lot of stuff from Jackie Brown, from the music to some of the situations, you know what I mean? He was heavily influenced by blaxploitation, and mostly Coffy and Foxy Brown, because he was a big Pam Grier fan, and that's why he wrote that part just for her. So before I get into the rest of my thoughts about Coffy, Perez, I'm going to give the floor to you. Tell the world what you thought about Coffy and how much you love this movie.
What's going on, Rashad and all his viewers? Thank you again, my friend, for having me here in another video. I'm sorry it took me so long to get this video to you, but here we are to talk about Coffy, the third film in the blaxploitation subgenre of films you've been having me check out. And the first one was Foxy Brown, once again starring Pam Grier, who is the lead actress in this film. And I wasn't crazy about that film. There was things about it on a cheesy, like it's so bad, it's good kind of level that I enjoyed about it. But that movie was pretty boring to me for the most part. And outside of those really cheesy elements that I was able to kind of have a laugh at, it just was boring more than anything. Superfly, I actually quite enjoyed. It was kind of entertaining because Ron O'Neal, who played the main character Priest, was entertaining and kept it fun to watch, on top of it being a movie that was just filled with It's So Bad, It's Good moments, and it just being like another cheesy watch. That one was a little bit more entertaining for me. So here we are talking about Coffy, and man, I gotta say this one was just boring. A lot of boobies. I think anybody who likes boobies might enjoy this movie. But overall, outside of that, yeah, this was just okay. There wasn't really much for me to really talk about, even really thinking about it before I started up the camera. Pam Grier is once again playing this very sexy, strong woman who's gonna, kick ass and do what she has to do. She's taking out different people who are involved with drugs, and there's a narrative that has to do with her sister. But the biggest thing for me while I was thinking about this movie is it just feels similar to Foxy Brown. It feels aimless. The movie starts with a pretty vague setup for a character and their motivation, but outside of that, Coffy's just kind of a boring character in a boring movie. Outside of Pam Grier looking amazing, she really doesn't bring anything to this role that's anything different than Foxy Brown, other than the characters are slightly different in and of themselves. And it just feels like this movie was an excuse to have women and their breast out every moment that they possibly could in this movie, because that's essentially the biggest entertainment value in this movie for me. Beyond that, this movie was very badly acted, very badly directed. The way it was edited, the way it was shot, the performances, really bad. It was interesting to see Sid Hagen here, though. Didn't expect to see him in this movie, to see him so young. So there were, elements about the film that I was able to laugh at. There's a moment earlier in the film where she's trying to get some information, and she ends up going to this cracked out white lady who ends up having like a woman of some sort who is this other black woman that's there. And when she comes in and finds Pam Grier's character lying on top of her, she ends up coming in and trying to kick her out, and she's throws a chair at her. Stuff like that was just so hilariously bad and cheesy that I couldn't help but be entertained and laugh. There's literally a scene as well where Pam Grier's character is telling this cop friend of hers that she misses back in the day when they used to laugh together. And she goes, "Do you remember when we used to laugh and do this and that?" And then the two of them laugh, reminiscing over these memories. And then she follows up with that by saying, "When was the last time I laughed?" And I just couldn't help but think to myself, you just laughed right before you said this. It was just a movie that felt pretty aimless to me. It didn't really feel like it had a trajectory for where the story was going. Overall, pretty boring. Some fun elements that were kind of just, again, the just kind of cheesy, it's so bad, it's good kind of stuff. But other than that, I can never see myself checking out this movie again. So a big thanks to Rashad for having me here in this video to check out Coffy, my third ever blaxploitation film. So far, Superfly is the only one I really enjoyed, but I appreciate you showing me these new movies that I've never seen before, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the movies you have down the pipeline that we're going to be reviewing here together. So a big thanks to everybody who watched my segment, and I'll hand it back to Rashad now.
Oh, man. All right. Look, once again, I cannot argue with anything that you're saying. These movies are bad. I'll be the first to admit. I'm not going to be like, nah, man, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know shit about movies. These movies are bad. It is what it is. These are bad movies, but damn it, I love watching them. They are a product of its time, its history. These movies came out at a time where there was no black representation, where we were strong, powerful, and kicked ass, And yeah, it's called exploitation because after a while it got to the point where they were exploiting us. It was so exaggerated and over the top where it became silly. And some black people even got offended by it. Like, come on, man, we're more than pimps and pushers and all that. But the original idea of blaxploitation was to show us as strong and black and proud, and that we're not going to take shit from the man no more. That was the original concept of these movies, but after a while they did get silly. And like I said earlier, what I appreciate about this movie is that Pam Grier did not play around with anybody, even the head pimp guy there, what's his name, George, King George, ding, ding, ding. Yo, shout out to Roy Ayers for doing the soundtrack to this movie. Roy Ayers is also the gentleman that did Everybody Loves the Sunshine. That song? Yeah, King George is supposed to be like the big pusher pimp guy or whatever, and Pam Grier joins his organization. All the girls are jealous of her, and not only does she take all the girls out single-handedly, like my favorite scene in there is when they try to jump her, and the one girl tried to grab her hair, and the razor blades was in her hair, and she got sliced up and shit. I love that scene. She did not play, man. And of course, she set up King George to get killed. Like, she fucked up everybody in this movie, And of course, she got her licks into where she got jacked up a little bit, but for the most part, Pam Grier kicked ass, man. She was the OG. All right, before Sarah Connor, before Ripley, it was Pam motherfucking Grier's Coffy. And damn it, I think I'm gonna replace one of my posters with Coffy pretty soon. So yeah, y'all, this is one of those movies where if you're like sick one day and you really can't go anywhere, put on Coffy. I think you'll enjoy it. It's one of those relaxing, soothing movies that almost like chicken soup. It's just good for your soul, you know. And seeing Pam Grier's boobies should heal almost any disease. You know what I mean? It's one of those movies. Or if you're just looking for this is like Blaxploitation 101, okay? If you can't get a hold of any of the Blaxploitation movie, yeah, get Coffy and watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Or if you want to see where Tarantino got a lot of his style from, check out Coffy. I think you will enjoy it. So wrapping this up, y'all, I'm gonna give Coffy a B plus. You know what? Nah, I'm gonna give it an A. Fuck it. Coffy's one of my A movies. My favorite Pam Grier movie. She was just gritty and downright just mean. You know what I'm saying? And Foxy Brown, like I dug Foxy Brown too, but I think Foxy Brown was a little bit more camp. She was a little bit more toned down in Foxy Brown, but in this one here, yeah, she ain't play no games. Pam Grier did not fuck around. You know what I'm saying? She was sexy as fuck. You know what I mean? Which I feel kind of bad saying that because she's old enough to be my grandma. But I'm to my 70s Pam Grier, you know, not now. And also, before I wrap this video up, as I'm shooting this, I found out that DMX is my favorite rapper, OD'd, and he's in the hospital fighting for his life. And they're saying it's not looking too good. But you know what? DMX is the last of a dying breed. He's one of those tough guys that you have to hit him with a fucking train to kill him. So I'm positive and faithful that X is going to pull out of this and he's going to be back on top again. And praise up to the dog. He's my personal favorite rapper of all time. You know, Darkman X, baby. Shout out. Anyways, A is what I got for Coffy. Perez, thank you for joining me in this video. And I should have did this in the beginning once again. I'm sorry, Perez, I keep doing this to you. But if you haven't already, subscribe to my man Anthony A. Perez. The link is in the description. Check him out. He talks about movies like Myself. Please show him some love. And that's all I got, man. So if you like and did this content, hit that like and subscribe notification bell in the corner. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.